What's going on, everyone? So Team USA had an absolute dominant performance, winning 117-74 over Puerto Rico. Couple things though, good and the bad. Let's dive into it. Let's talk about it. First half, they looked terrible. Okay, let me rephrase it. They didn't look terrible, but they didn't look very good. They looked very sloppy. Granted, first game, maybe that was just, some of it was the jitters, playing for Team USA, different environment. Maybe some of it is just rust. You got to get it off. You're playing in a real game, right? Okay, I can look past that. But they really got to start getting into the flow of things because they're going to start having some real competition coming up, right? Their next opponent is Luka, and Luka will bust these guys if they're not careful. Then they end up playing Spain, which Spain is the number one ranked team in the world right now. And then on top of that, they got to play Greece. Greece is really good. So their real opponents are coming up. And if they play the way that they did in the first half against those teams, they might be in trouble and the game might be over at halftime. But on the bright side, Team USA looked ridiculous in the second half. I mean, they basically came out on a 20-0 run, completely locked down Puerto Rico, and their just size, speed, athleticism really showed. And look, this isn't the most talented USA roster. There's a lot of questions of where are they going to finish, right? 2019 they finished 7th. Sorry, 2019 they finished 7th, which is not good, right? You don't want that. This team though does have talent, right? They do have a good roster, but they are really fast. They push the pace, which is why Steve Kerr is really push it. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Use your strengths. Your strengths are you're probably more athletic, faster, and just more dynamic than most of these rosters you're going to face. And so use that to your advantage. And we saw that. They were really good defensively. They basically can switch 1 through 5. They have their advantages. And they're going to have their advantage against pretty much anybody. But can they find that level of consistency? Now, it was a very well-rounded win, right? The highest scorers only attributed 15 points, right? Nobody had more than 15, but it was a very well-rounded game. Everyone chipped in, everyone looked good. Once they got things going, you had Jalen Brunson, he had 11, and he also, I believe he had a double-double. He had 11 points and 12 rebounds. Jaren Jackson was solid, although he got into foul trouble. He's got to do a better job of that. Bobby Portis and Brandon Ingram were both in double figures. I mean, they had 7 guys in double figures, which is really good. They also out-rebound, points off of turnovers. They also were 11-2 in block shots, and they shot the ball really well. This is a team that can defend at an elite level, super fast, super athletic, and basically every guy on their roster can shoot, right? That's really good. They have all 5 guys as their starters that can go and shoot the 3 ball and shoot it efficiently. So that's where they need to use their strengths. Continue to push the pace, continue to just play swarming defense, switch everything, and just use their advantages going forward. But again, they have their obstacles. They have their strengths. And I'm curious to see who kind of steps up when, who's the big, closer down the stretch, right? Who are the guys that kind of take things over when they start to face some adversity? They basically just ran through Puerto Rico, so there wasn't really they weren't challenged in any way. And even as poorly as they looked at times in the first half specifically, they still were winning that entire game by double digits. And they still, at no point did it look like Puerto Rico even stood a slight chance. So what happens if they play Spain and it's a tight game late? And Brandon Ingram's like, don't worry, I got this. And, you have Anthony Edwards who's like, look, no, I got this. Or you have Jalen Brunson that's like, nah, I got this, because you have all these guys that have been the closers and been the guys down the stretch that have taken over games and all that. Like, are they able to have and play within that team? Because they were really good at moving the ball, sharing the ball. Like, guys were being very unselfish and were playing as a team. Like, they were able to get fast breaks, but they were also very careless with the ball, right? Like, that's something else that they need to do a better job of, just taking care of the basketball. And they try to get cute, right? Like, you saw a lot of just like trying to get cute with the passing and like trying to get some highlight plays, or trying to like thread the needle when it's just like it's not a good pass and you have a guy like open in the corner, but you want the highlight pass instead. It's like that becomes a concern because this team is very young and this team is, yes, very talented, but there's a lot of questions with this roster. And we didn't really have any of it solved in this game, right? Like, Team USA, to be fair, did what they were supposed to do. You play Puerto Rico, they don't have the talent, they don't have the size, they don't have the athleticism. You're supposed to beat them by 40. And that's what Team USA did. And that's good, right? Like, you want to see them beat the teams in a blowout fashion that they're supposed to beat in a blowout fashion. But, and even, Slovenia, right? Like, they should beat them too. It's the Spain, like Spain's going to be their toughest challenge, I think. Or like if Luka just has some like crazy heroic game. And look, Luka's going to want to bust these guys, right? He's in the NBA. He wants to do that night in and night out when he's facing these guys. And now he's facing them in a, country setting where he's going to want to really step up. And now, look, USA's also, they're not going to be in Vegas. They're going to be in Spain. So that's something else to keep in mind as well. Because now, like, they had basically home court. Well, now you're going to be playing Spain in Spain, and they're going to have home court, and you're just going to have the fans and just the ruliness, and it's going to be a completely different environment, completely different atmosphere. Are they going to be able to handle that, overcome that, and deal with it? Right? Like, all of these European players, I hear it all the time, like Luka and even Jokic and guys like that have talked about, like, dude, NBA fans are not loud. Like, this is nothing. Right? When they go, oh, can you hear it? And they always laugh about it. Like, no, go play in another country and hear just the chanting and the stuff that is said and thrown out. Like, it's a different thing, right? Like, and so now Team USA is going to have to face that. And they're going to have to overcome better talent. And if they play sloppy, all of a sudden you're going to look up and Team USA is going to be getting spanked. And it's like, come on, man. Right? And look, I think that front to back, I think this Team USA roster is better than the 2019 roster. But that 2019 roster had like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I mean, Jason Tatum's better than every guy on Team USA right now. Jaylen Brown is arguably, would be one of, if not the best players on Team USA right now. And again, that's not a knock, right? They have great talent. Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards as your 1 and 2. You got Triple J, who Defensive Player of the Year, good just versatility, right, and switchability and whatnot. You got Mikal Bridges, he's really emerged and evolved into a legit two-way player and is probably going to be a star for the Nets next season or this season. And then, Brandon Ingram is a guy that, a real mismatch, right? Like, he's a guy that most teams are going to have a very hard time just dealing with and handling and staying in front of and defending, right? So Team USA, they have to continue to use their tools, right? They showed what they could do against Puerto Rico, and they showed basically how they're going to beat everybody. That's just staying fast, pushing the pace, but they got to do a better job of taking care of the ball, right? And to be fair, that's also part of pushing the pace. Like, right, it's one of the reasons like the Warriors are why they are usually one of the top heavy teams as far as turnovers go. because they want to get up and down the court really fast. They want to push. They want to get the look-ahead passes and all that stuff. And, you don't really have the time to gather and really survey the court to make sure you're making the proper pass. So there's going to be the pros and cons there. But they're basically going to have to be the best defensive team in FIBA. And they're going to have to hit shots, right? Again, this is a roster that can shoot the ball. And they have great talent off the bench, right? I mean, Cam Johnson was shooting that thing and shooting the lights out. Austin Reeves was the leading scorer at halftime and was just great defensively and making plays for others and doing a lot of work. I mean, Walker Kessler barely played, and he could be a guy that could be a huge part and a huge factor for this roster, right? Like, Team USA has a lot of talent. It's not the A team, right? It's not, the super duper stars, but it is, I do believe personally that they are good enough to get it done. Like, nobody in FIBA that they're going to have to match up against is that, like, oh my, like, there's no way Team USA is beating them, right? They're definitely capable of losing. I'm not saying that Team USA won't get beat, but I'm saying there's nobody, like, even Spain, who's top ranked, they're beatable, right? Team USA can absolutely beat them, right? They have very good talent. Paolo Banchero is going to be a mismatch for a lot of guys. Anthony Edwards and his ability and his speed and quickness and just defense, Tyrese Halliburton, his ability to just make plays. I mean, that dude was like just wheeling and dealing, man. That guy was, talk about a point guard. That guy was playing point guard. You got Brandon Ingram and Triple J, who's going to be a tough guard for most teams too. Like, they got good size, right? Like, all their guards are pretty sizable, right? Their smallest guard is like Jalen Brunson. Like, everyone else is like 6'5" and above, right? So they have good size at the guard position. They have good size out in the perimeter. They have several guys that can play the center position. They all are able to shoot. They all have versatility. You can run different lineups, different looks, different sets. Team USA should be in a good spot. But there is a question of, like, can they win it? Are they good enough to get it done? Second half, Team USA looked like a team that is capable of doing that. First half, Team USA looks like a team that gets beat by Spain. Just my thoughts. And as always, I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What'd you think? What'd you think of the first game? What do you think of them going forward? Do you think they win? Do you think they don't? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.